Hello,
Hi,
everyone. I'm
I'm good. How are you doing?
doing really good. Oh, Kim's joining us on Facebook. Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey,
Yeah,
everybody.
it's Mari and me tonight. Julia in her craft room in Calgary and Mari in her craft room. And I,
Warman,
Warman,
Saskatchewan.
which is just outside of Saskatoon,
Yep,
right?
like
Right.
five
Just
minutes from
5 minutes
Saskatoon.
outside of Saskatoon. Oh, Lynn is here. Lynn
Hi, Lynn.
Lindsay. Linda,
Awesome.
Julie, hello. Yes, so
Hey,
thank you
everybody.
so much for joining me back here on Monday Night Live. It is the first one for April. And Mari, I'm so happy to have Mari joining me tonight. Hi, Mary Lou. And if you don't know who Mari is, we're just going to do like a little intro to Mari. Let me go back here. So, Mari, actually, I don't and maybe you told me a little bit about your background, but Mari is on so many design teams, and I know you've just recently you've
Pared
taken a
it
step
down a
back
little
from
bit.
Vicky
Yeah,
Booten. Yeah, if you
yeah.
don't know, Mari just became a grandmother to a beautiful baby boy. He's adorable, so she wants to try and spend as much time with that beautiful grandbaby, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You betcha.
Right. So design teams: Vicky Booten, Honeybee,
I
and
actually just stepped down from Vicky Booten. So I just finished with Vicky's design team. So I designed for her for a year and a half and just wrapped that up. So honeybee stamps, still promoting Studio Light, Just Nick Studio, of course, the creative team at Paper and Ink Boutique. And I'm also on the education team for Crafters Companion.
right.
Right.
A lot of things you're doing.
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, so Mari's very active on social media, very active. So I'm just putting up her Instagram handle there. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, give her a follow there because she's very active. Not only on her Instagram, but also on her YouTube channel. So make sure you check out Mari Clarke and the Clark with an E. Make sure you put the E on there on YouTube because her YouTube channel is pretty amazing as well. And she also has a blog. Mari's one of those people who still has a blog, still fighting with the blog. I let my blog go, it's gone. But mariclarkcreations.com. So if you want to follow all of Mari's creativity, you can check her out there. I'm just going to go back here. So again, Mari Clarke on YouTube. She's pretty easy to find there. And then Mari Cealark
Yeah,
on Instagram. Yeah, perfect. So make sure
you
you
betcha.
give her a follow. Definitely.
Thanks, Julia.
Okay, so Mari did do a little bit of teaching for us, and you did the journals, the Studio
Right.
Light journals. Very
Hmm.
popular, and they're very popular right now. A lot of people love doing the journals. Why do you
They
like
do.
journals?
I like for memory keeping, I like the size of the memory planner. You can whip up a layout really quick. You can still get really artsy. It's not that large of a canvas, but you can still use your mixed media if you want, your stamps. Like there's so many different things that you can use to create with in that small format still. So I really love that. I also really like the Heidi Swap chapters size. Anything like that's great. So yeah, I really
Yeah,
like the memory planner format.
nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, does anyone have any questions for Mari before we start creating? Anyone at all? Mari can see your comments. I know Renee just said you are not old enough to be a grandma, and I agree.
Oh,
I
thank you.
agree.
Well, you're really kind.
It must be living in Saskatchewan because my husband looks way younger than what he is too. It kind of annoys me.
Yeah, it probably is
Yeah.
a
A
Saskatchewan
Saskatchewan thing.
fair. Oh.
Uh,
Well, I have
oh,
to tell you, I started going gray when I was 16 years old. Hmm. I've had
wow.
white hair most of my life.
Wow,
Mhm.
it looks great. And it's the
Well,
in thing now.
thank you. I guess, yeah.
It's in.
People
Yeah.
people compliment me on it on the street, and I'm like, for real? Right now? Like what?
Yeah. I know you see
Anyways,
these 20-year-olds who want to have like the
I
silver
know.
hair and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
I don't
oh no
know.
you don't. It's coming."
Anyways,
Yeah, we've got a question from Renee. How did you get to where you are now? Like
me?
maybe that yeah, that's you. How
Oh,
long have you been a crafter? Like how long has
okay.
this been in the
Well,
works?
I mean, I've been crafting for a very long time. I used to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator, late 90s. Um, but I loved that because I could card make and scrapbook with the Stampin' Up stuff. So I did that for a number of years, but then that just slowly evolved. And in 2014, I think it was, I injured my back and I started watching. I was a teacher at that time, still teaching. I taught high school for 32 years. And I was on summer break and I started watching people scrapbook on YouTube. I'd watched Gina Kay, Christina Werner on YouTube before that. But then I started watching people scrapbook on there, like Chamel, Mercy Tierra, all those people that we all watched, right?
Mhm.
And I decided to start my own YouTube channel at that time. So 2015, I got that rolling. And I just, I went to Crop and Create and I started to get noticed a little bit and posting in social media. And yeah, pretty soon people were contacting me to be on design teams. So that's how kind of it got started. But number
Nice.
one tip I would say to people if they're interested in kind of showing their work is being able to photograph their things properly. Yeah,
That's important.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So never give up hope. If you want to be on the design team, first of all,
It's
you have to
true.
be on social media too.
You do. Yeah.
Everything is all about being on social media. And when I was on a design team years ago, it was blogging. We
Oh,
all
great.
blogged,
Okay.
and our
Yeah.
bloggings. I think it's people want that instant gratification. So I think
Hmm.
that's where the TikToks and the YouTube and the
Yeah.
Instagram and all of those kind of are now the places to go
Sure.
and get your stuff seen by people. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. It's right. Yes. So lots of fun. I just enjoy it. And I hope to be teaching back at the paper and ink in the fall, hopefully, once the
And
summer we get
we
that
would love
cottage built and that kind of thing. So,
and we
yeah,
can't wait to have Mari at the store. We want Mari to come and
yeah,
visit
that
us.
would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Okay, so we're going to get started because
Yes.
we only we have a little less than 50 minutes, right? Or 50 minutes. Now,
Yeah.
Mari and I are going to talk about, I'm just going to spotlight my camera just for a moment. Mari and I were talking about watercolor techniques. So this is a card I created this afternoon and it's all watercolor. Part of it was done using my Alta New watercolor palette, but most of it was done with distress inks, distress refills. I stamped and then watercolored. That's another technique we can talk about. But we just want to share with you just some of our techniques on watercoloring. So I'm going to flip it over to Mari because Mari's got something that
Hmm.
she wants to share. So let's come over
Yes.
here.
So I have a card front cut here. I'm working on that grip mat. That's so great. And this is Vicky Bouton Foundations paper that I've trimmed
Ex-
out with,
Excuse me, Mari.
yeah, for sure.
Now, you said that was your grip mat. Is that your Tim Holtz
Yes.
grip mat that you cut up?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, look
You
at
bet
you
it is.
go.
Yeah, look
So
at.
you got that and
Yeah.
you just
Oh yeah.
laser hand that thing up and
I have a couple that I didn't cut, but I have one that I cut. And so
wow,
this is
smart.
the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper,
Hmm.
Gina K Master Layouts 8. I've got
Nice.
that trimmed out for a 5x7. And I'm going to be using this gorgeous honeybee set, Bold Botanicals. I love this. I'm going to show a watercolor technique with that. And I'm also going to be using Thinking of You Big Time. And I didn't actually bring it onto my desk, but it's the Big Hug Small Card stamp set from Honeybee. And I also used the Honeybee Sweet Stacks rectangles dies for my project. Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. And I've got some art crayons from Vicky Booten on my desk too.
Oh, the art crayons. I love her art crayons.
I do too. Yeah, and they're discontinued, right?
I know.
So if
we do still have a few.
Well, people should get their hot little hands on those because when they're gone, they're gone.
I've been using the gel crayons too. I don't know. Do you have her gel crayons? Well, of
I
course you do.
do.
You're on her design team. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like them. I don't use them as much, but if you could also use like your Tim Holtz crayons for this technique, and you could also use the scribble sticks.
Oh yes, Dina Wakely scribble sticks. Yeah.
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 So what I did,
they're all slightly different.
yeah, they are. It's true. Some are more highly pigmented and that kind of thing. But what I'm going to do is I have my stamps on my block and I've just scribbled the crayon right onto the stamp. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of water on my finger and I'm just going to get that a little bit damp. And I'm going to stand up right away because I usually stand when I'm crafting. And now I'm just going to stamp that out onto my Vicky Booten cardstock.
Very cool.
Yeah. Look at that. And you get this really pretty watercolor look on your project. And I'm going to go in with another color of green and just do a little, not the whole thing, but just a little bit. And I'll add a little bit of water there again. I'm going to try to stamp over that same image. And you can't be afraid when you're doing this. You just got to go for it.
Yeah, that's right. And well, it's meant to look loose and
exactly
and watercolor. So it really does have a lot of forgiveness in this technique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So I'm going to just hold that up to the camera so you can see it a little better.
Beautiful.
Yeah, looks nice. So I'm going to just keep doing that. I've got a bunch of those bold botanical stamps on my block. And now I'm going to switch. Let's see. I'm going to do this guy here. And I'm just going to make a little garden, little watercolor garden on my card front.
Beautiful. And how easy is that, right? I mean, you just put your crayon, a little bit of water on the end of your finger, and then stamp it. Yeah.
Stamp it. You can overlay them.
Oh, so pretty.
Mm-hmm. Super easy. Easy, easy. What are you doing, Julia?
Well, let me pull it back to my overhead camera here.
Okay.
So what I'm doing, actually, let me lower my camera here. Okay. So what I did, there we are. What I did is I took a couple of floral stamps here.
Yeah.
And I took, I believe it was Saltwater Taffy Distressing. Stamped or applied the ink to my stamps, stamped them with my stamp platform. And then I came over with my watercolor brush. This one is, I think this is my Tim Holtz Detailer water brush. And then I left my paper in my stamp platform because I want to re-stamp it once I'm done. But now I'm just going in with my water brush and I'm adding ink. And all I'm doing is I am reactivating that ink from my stamped image, reactivating it and pulling it into my flower. So then what I can do is I can go back in, I can stamp it again, I can do the watercolor technique again, get some darker color around the image. But it's just one of those nice, easy ways to get almost like a no line stamping, because I'm not stamping it with a harsh black or gray or anything like that.
Really
So you can
cool.
see I'm just going in there and just reactivating that ink and pulling it into my image. So you can see how fast and easy that is. Like, it hardly takes any time at all. And
Exactly.
I would fussy cut these out, pop them up.
Sure.
Actually, let me go back to my original card so I can show you that one.
Okay.
Here we are. So this stamp here, I did the same thing. I stamped it with saltwater taffy. I didn't spread the ink out as much. I just kind of ran it along so it kind of spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I re-stamped it with a darker color. So I did saltwater taffy and then I did fired brick on
I
top
love
of it.
that.
So that's how I've got the two tones there. And then I
Sure.
fussy cut it out and popped it up on my card.
Perfect.
So yeah.
I love
So
that.
how is yours coming along here?
Well, I've got one more small piece of foliage. So this one here, the stamp. I love this set because it's all labeled so that if you stamp stem A, it tells you these are the layering stamps that go along with A, and so on and so forth. So it's a really cool set. You could use, oh, there's a coordinating die set as well. So if I wanted to die cut these, I could, but I'm not going to. It's going to be a one layer card. And now I'm just going to go to, I'm just looking here. I think it's this one. I'm going to do this stem. I'm going to use the brighter green. Again, I'm just going to color on there and get that damp. You don't want too much water because then it kind of almost gets a little bit too diluted.
Yeah, you don't want it too watery.
No. And I'm just going to stamp. And I love Vicky's Foundations paper too for this.
Yeah, that's what I'm using too. It really does take a lot of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a lot of wet media.
And it's such a great price point, like for that big pad. I like it. My second card, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz, the Ranger Heavy Stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it because it's bright white.
Yes. Yeah.
But okay, so now I'm going to put some blooms on there. And this is the matching bloom for that stem. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of blue. If my talking sounds weird, it's because I've got this dumb headphone in and I can hear myself in the headphone. It's just annoying. I need to figure out a better setup. Okay, so there I have that. I don't know if you can see that well.
Oh yeah,
and
that looks good.
Yeah, I'm going to line that up and press it down. And there we can just see we have some pretty little blooms on our flower. I just love that.
Very cool.
That set is still available, isn't it?
It is still available. Yeah, it is a gorgeous set. And like I mean, I've never counted, but I don't know how many blooms you've got on there, but there is a lot, and a lot of different combinations between blooms and stems. Like, it really is.
FG, I'm counting it out. H.
Yeah,
H.
it's huge. Yeah, we do still have that one available. It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'll just show it again. You can see all this. You can do, this kind of looks like a lupin or a lilac maybe. This one looks like a hydrangea. Yeah, there's lots. They're so pretty.
Lots on there, yeah.
So yeah, if you like to make spring cards, floral cards, that's a great set. And this one, I'm going to stamp that down in yellow. So we've got a yellow bloom kind of a purpley blue bloom here. So there you can see. It's quite nice.
That
Now,
is gorgeous.
thank you. I'm going to go in with some gold watercolor. Do you think you have this, Julia? I wasn't sure.
What is that?
It's a good one.
I don't have that one, but we've got the Altenew Metallics.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Then that's great. That's the same kind of thing. So if you're looking for something like that, and I'm just going to take a fan brush and I'm going to splatter with gold.
Oh, Mari, can you remind me, is that Bold Blooms? What is the name of that stamp again?
Bold Botanicals.
Bold Botanicals is what
Yeah.
it's called, and it is honeybee, and there is a coordinating die set.
You bet.
But as you can see with what Mari is doing, you don't need the die set to make absolutely beautiful
No.
cards.
No, you don't. You can do a single layer card easily. These wouldn't necessarily fussy cut super well. So if you do want them cut out, I would recommend the die, but
Oh yeah, no, you definitely would not be able to fussy cut those.
no.
I don't care how good of a fussy cutter you are. Okay, so
Yeah, I was being optimistic when I said I don't think you could.
So Heather is actually our assistant manager, and she said, what would be your suggestion to get this look without the Vicki Boutin art crayons, since we don't have a lot? We also have the Dina Wakley. The Dina Wakley crayons would work just as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Vicki Boutin gel crayons would do the exact same thing. Yep, the gel crayons, the distress crayons.
Yeah, the distress crayons would be great.
Yeah, so distress, the Dina Wakley crayons, and the gel crayons from Vicki Boutin would also work as well. Well, that is absolutely stunning.
It's really pretty, isn't it? So easy.
Very pretty. Now, what I would do is I would let it dry naturally. Is that what you would do? Or yeah. Because that's where you get that nice kind of look.
Yeah. I'm going to just set it aside for a second.
Sure.
And I'll start my second.
I'm going to come back to mine.
You bet.
So I showed you on my first one, I had stamped it with saltwater taffy. Stamped them. I came in and just started wetting those ink lines and started pulling the color in. Then I went back in and I stamped it a second time with saltwater taffy. Did the exact same thing. And then for my last one, I went in with fired brick distress ink. So you can see how I've got this nice dark outline. Nothing black. I'm not using any black in there, which I absolutely love. So I haven't done anything since I put fired brick on there, but I could go in there if I wanted to darken up some of those areas. I could certainly do that because we all know distress inks stay water reactive. Even if you go in and heat them, they will still water activate. So I could still go in there and play around a little bit and do that. But I think for the most part, I would call those done and I would fussy cut those out and use those. But yeah, that is just a nice, easy way. And sometimes I don't want that harsh black line, right? So this is just another way of stamping it, getting a nice watercolor look without getting that harsh black line. Yeah, so those turned out really well.
Gorgeous. Okay, hey, what stamp is that again? Is that paper artsy?
That is my very well used Tracy Scott. It's even when she was back as an Eclectica designer. So now it would be TS022, which I still think we have these in stock under her new one, but mine's one of the originals. Mine's very well loved. I use this one a lot for the flowers and also the butterflies, which the butterfly is from that set too. So
cool. Well, I want to thank you for introducing me to Paper Artsy.
Oh, you are welcome.
Like, thank you.
I love Paper Artsy. Yeah.
I love it. Love, love, love it. I'm now trying the distress crayons.
Okay. Yep.
Just because Heather asked, and I thought, well, let's try a different one for the second card. And so that the first one was Tree Lot, and the second is Bubbling Cauldron. Love these names, these crayons.
I think that would be a fun job. I think that would be a very fun job.
Yeah.
To
I used to tell the kids at school that a job I might pursue as a retired teacher is working for like Benjamin Moore, naming paint colors.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they just thought that was the stupidest thing they'd ever heard.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that goes back to my days as a child getting the really big box of Crayola crayons and reading the names of all of them. I just thought that was the best thing. I thought these are the best names ever.
So good. Well, I guess I need to add to my distress crayon stash. I don't have enough greens. So I'm going to use Vicky's gel crayon, this green, for a different one. But they all work for this technique. And in no time, we're going to have 2 card fronts. And this one's A2. And the crayons probably stain the stamps a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't damage them.
No, as long as you wipe them off, it's not going to damage them at all.
No. Mm-mm.
So another fun thing that I like to watercolor with, I'm just going to flip it back to my screen.
Okay.
So you may have something like infusions or brushos, color bursts, color sparks, really anything like that, the pixie sparkles. So if you have a pigment, and we know we all like using them with, here, I'm going to come over here and show you what. Let me just do the infusions. So if you're unfamiliar with infusions, they are a pigment. These are from Paper Artsy. And when you add water to them, into these beautiful colors, which those are gorgeous, right? Like I absolutely love doing them. Now you can, that's called the sprinkle and spritz. So I sprinkled the pigment, then I spritzed it with water. But you can also spritz with water first and then sprinkle.
Cool.
And then you get a very different look, right? Look at that.
I love those. Oh my gosh, I don't have those.
Oh my goodness, they are amazing. But you can also watercolor with them.
Oh, right. Okay, so you dilute them?
Yeah, let me move. Oh, there we are. Okay, so I'm going to take, let me just see. This one was pretty. What's this one? Frankly Scarlet. So I'm going to just put a little bit on my working mat here. I'm going to add a spray of water. So you can see there's my color. I'm going to take my detail brush.
Right.
And I'm just going to kind of mix up those pigments in there. And then I'm going to take my brush and then I can start adding them to my paper. So yes, you can also watercolor with any of your powdered pigments. Like I said, Pixie Sparkles, we sell a lot of Pixie Sparkles. Those are gorgeous. And just like they say, they have sparkle in them. So the infusions, if you want to know how they're different, is they have a walnut stain pigment in them. So if I come back to this one here, do you see the brown flecks? That's the walnut.
Oh,
so
cool.
all of the colors, all of the infusions have that walnut in them.
That is
So,
so neat.
yeah, so, but a lot of them, like the Ken Oliver ones, those ones are very bright and they don't have that dark pigment base. So I will use my Ken Oliver Color Sparks with my infusions because sometimes I want a nice bright color without that brown walnut stain base. But I just love, 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 love. So
They're so nice. Oh my
look at
gosh.
that, just gorgeous. So I would
Oof.
let this dry and then I would come back and I'd add another layer.
Okay.
And yeah, so definitely get out your pigments too and start coloring with those.
Oh, I love
Okay.
that.
Okay. I hear it sounds like Mari is assembling cards. I'm just going to go back.
My Gina
I,
K
I
tape runner.
I heard the sound of tape runner. Here we go. Oh, look at this. She is putting her cards together.
I'm gonna start anyways. Yeah. So I did use that Master Layouts aid again to cut a black mat. Going all Gina K here with my black mat.
Look at you.
Yeah. And then I have a 5x7 card base. So I just took a piece of 10x7 paper, scored it at 5 inches for my 5x7. Now I can just add this to my card base. More of that fun sound. And again, that media mat, or what's it called again, Julia?
The
It's
grip
so good.
mat?
The grip mat. It's so
Yeah.
great to work on because it just holds everything in place. I love it. So now this card just needs a sentiment. So prior to the live, I did stamp out and emboss, heat emboss the sentiment thinking of you, and I die cut it. I'll show you what I used. But I did use the Wow Gold Rich Super Fine embossing powder. I know Julia has this.
Yeah.
I bought it
I
from her.
I
Yeah.
always I always like to tell people that if you are using an embossing powder for sentiments, you do want to look for the extra fine, the fine detail. Um, you'll be a lot happier with that, right, Mari?
Yes. I love
Yeah.
this. And it's layerable, right? So
Yes. Yep.
it layers so nice. You can emboss it, heat it up. You can add more powder, heat it again, and you get that chunky layer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good. Now, this is the Thinking of You Big Time set, which is amazing. I love it. If you want some inspiration for this or any honeybee supplies or products, you can look on the honeybee site too. They have a lot of really good samples. I love this just because it's really bold, and there's a coordinating die set for that too. And I cut it out, and then I also cut it out of black for that black shadow layer.
Very
And
nice.
now I can add that to my card front for that sentiment. And I also did a sentiment from the Big Hug Small Cards set, which Julia also has. And this one is just a smaller, finer sentiment. You're always on my mind in
Is that the
black.
one? Is that the one that has the matching hot foil?
Yes,
Right.
which
Yes.
is amazing. So, what I like to do is keep this little tray on my desk. Well, there's some pink fresh in there too, but this one is from that Big Card Small Hugs.
Oh, look at that. That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
And that's part of a larger sentiment, but that's just to show you the foil plate. But yeah, those are cool. So you could add a smaller sentiment like that, or you could add a bolder sentiment, something like that. I just wanted to show a few ways to finish it off. So
So
that's card one.
for anyone who is a scrapbooker, maybe not a card maker, That technique that Mari did there would be very easy to put on a scrapbooking page. You could
Mm-hmm.
do that. You could do a field of wildflowers
Yep,
along the bottom of your page, and that would look gorgeous. You could
absolutely.
you could do it again, use the die set, cut out a few, and add some depth to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just because we're showing these on cards does not mean these techniques um, have to be exclusively used with cards. These techniques can be done on other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that the first one you did with the gold
So this is
splatter?
the second one I did tonight,
Oh,
but
second one.
with the distress crayons.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And I did use one Vicky Bouton gel crayon for this lighter green, but yeah, it's really pretty. So this is A2 for an A2 size card. What's yours looking like now, Julia?
I am just, and I keep saying it, why am I fussy cutting? Oh my gosh. But
Or,
here I am. So this is the card that I did ahead of time.
mhm.
Now I did see a question from Lucy, and I'm sorry. Oh, does the water warp the paper? So the paper that we're using, I'm using the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper, and it's a 140-pound mixed media paper. So it is made to use and to take a lot of wet media without warping. Now, I tend to get a little overzealous with my water and my sprays. So this is the one paper I found that can really take a lot of abuse without warping. I
Mhm.
have used 130-pound, the super stock from Creative Scrapbooker magazine, also excellent. But it will warp on me a little bit. It's 130-pound. And then some of the media papers from Ranger, Dina, Diane, and Tim all have their own lines. Those range anywhere from 110 to 130.
Mhm.
And all of those are good too, but you will get a little bit more warping on the thinner poundage papers.
Mhm.
But it's pretty easy to straighten out. You just run it along your fingers and you can straighten it out. But I tell you, the Vicky Bouton stuff, I very rarely get much warping
No,
at all.
it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I mean, I've done a ton of scrapbooking layouts with it and lots of mixed media on it, and it's just the best. It's really good. For sure.
Okay.
Hands down.
So let me just put on my last flower here. I'm going to finish off this card. I'll show it to you and then we'll go back to Mari.
I love those infusions. And
They
those,
are amazing. I
oh,
love using them for watercolor.
yeah. And those florals are so beautiful. So is the butterfly.
Just going to trim off the excess there. So there is that card. I do have half of that flower. I cut
Super
it in half.
cute.
So what I might do is I might end up tucking it up under somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to leave it right now. But yeah, the infusion. So I've left this to dry so you can see. I mean, you
Oh, I
just
love
get,
that.
I mean, it's just amazing. And this one's really important to leave to dry on its own because of that walnut in there. So the
Right.
longer you leave it to dry, the more it will get kind of that antique-y, grungy look to it. So I
Mhm.
always just let it just air dry on its own.
Yeah.
But it
I
is.
love that you're leaving little bits of white here and there too.
Yeah.
It
I
makes such a
tend
difference.
I tend not to do it like perfect. I like to
Exactly.
leave like little bits and stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
and I did that on here, but when you put it together as a card in the grand scheme of things, you don't really notice it, right?
You don't, but you do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's an
It's not.
important little aspect of it. I love that.
Now, I don't think I told people how I actually created the layers of this card. Let me just do that quick.
For sure.
So I took this die. This is a die, a cover plate die from Honeybee Stamps. So this one here, if you watched Mari A couple, I can't remember, before the last release, she did one using this with the dragonfly, and it was all white. Oh, stunning. So as soon as this die came in, I'm like, I need to get it. So what I
It's
did
a
is
good one.
I die cut out this. This is what it looks like when it die cuts out. Oh, I'm just going to take Lucy's comment off there. Let me just hide that. Okay. So I die cut it out. This is using the Vicky Bouton's foundation paper. And then what I did, I used my Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I used the embossing mat and the tan mat, and I actually embossed this die into the paper.
I
So
love that.
that is that die
It's so
embossed in
cool.
the Vicky Bouton's foundation paper.
Very cool.
So yeah, so on my background here, again, I watercolored it. I did the blue, I did the leaves under there in a different shade of green. And you can see it's messy, it's not perfect. I didn't want it to be perfect. I wanted it to kind of be loose and messy,
Hmm. I love that
and
look.
then and then I took this one and I colored in my leaves. I think I did 3 different shades of green. This is a black watercolor. I did 2 coats of that. Again, it's not perfect. Some edges are darker in areas than other, but still gave it a nice frame. And then I did pop it up on some foam adhesive
Hmm.
there to give me my finished card. And then I had that
Gorgeous.
stamped sentiment. So yeah, that turned out really good. I was really happy with it. Okay,
I
so
do love
let's see.
that.
What are you? Oh, you're using the gems.
I was thinking I would do some gems. Yeah.
Yeah. Heather is also a lover of the gems.
Oh, the gems are so good. Hey, Heather. So good. I don't know. My honeybee tweezers are too far away for me right now to reach. So, because I took my little tool caddy off my desk to put my computer on there, but I would usually use tweezers for this. But I
So
thought
we
I would
did
just,
have a question from
okay.
Julie. Any tips on lining up your card layers evenly?
I saw that and I did pull my Misty out to show a couple tricks. Do you have an answer, Julia?
I'm one of those eyeball
Yeah.
people. I just eyeball it up. That's what I do.
Hmm.
So I'm probably not the best person to ask for anyone who wants to get anything evenly layered.
I'm
But
the
I
same,
guess
but I can show a tip here. I'll
yeah,
just put my card.
which really is another great use for a stamp platform. And I probably
Hmm.
should use mine a little bit more for that, but I don't. But yeah, let's watch Mari with her tips using her Misty.
Let's see here. Do I have another card base on my desk? Thought I did. Of course, I'm all rigged up to this headphones setup. Okay, so what I would do, you can use a stamping platform like the Misty and put your card in the corner. And then if you have the Misty corners, you could put the layer in the corner, and that should line it up really well. If I had another card base here, I would grab that and show you, but I don't see one on my desk, so sorry. You can also use your bone folder to help you line things up. See if you put things in the corner of your bone folder and then use the lines on the bone folder to help you put things into place.
Oh, on the score pal, you mean?
Yeah, on the score pal,
Oh,
exactly.
see, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have thought, but of
you can
course
use a
that,
score pal too.
yeah, of
Hmm.
course that makes sense.
Yeah, thinking I might. Should I use pearls? Let's go for some audience interaction here. What
Oh,
should I use these gems in gold? Or I have clear, I've got silver, black, I've also got pearls. What should I use? What's everyone think?
feedback. What's everyone?
Mhm. Pearls. Okay, that was the
Oh,
first one.
okay.
So we're going with pearls. Let's see. I've got so many colors of pearls. Maybe we'll go with gold pearls. And these are all Honeybee Stamps stickers. Do you have the pearls in stock?
I don't know if we have them back in stock yet.
Okay.
People, I am not a bling person, so it doesn't
Mhm.
occur to me, but thankfully Heather orders all of the
Oh,
bling,
good.
so
Yeah.
she's probably a better person to ask than me.
Mhm. They're good.
She orders all
The
of them.
pearls are
Yeah,
nice.
really nice.
I'm echoing.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I don't hear an
Your
echo.
sound is echoing. We didn't do anything, did we, Julia?
No, I haven't changed anything.
Still? Hello? Still echoing?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to my camera. I'm going to show you what I'm kind of playing around with here. Here we go. So I'm back. Move that out of the way. So I'm still using infusions. So I got out two other colors of infusions, kind of in the same color family, in the oranges and the pinks. And this time I decided not to do a black outline. I'm going to do kind of a different, trying to spread these colors out. So the colors I'm using are Terracotta, Sunset Beach, and Frankly Scarlet. So they're all in the, the pinks, the reds, the colors. So I'm kind of like mixing them a little bit.
Ooh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's coming along. And I'm, like I said, I let these dry on their own because then I can go back. I can see if somewhere needs like an extra layer or like a little bit of a shadow. But that's kind of what's happening right there. So I think what I would do is I would take this die cut. I would die cut it out again because it's different the way you lay it. So I would cut out a second one and flip it the other way, and I would layer them together. So I would get like this nice kind of layered viney look to it. And I would probably do the background in like some darker colors. So maybe I would come in here with like a Are You Cerise, or even the Orange County, and just try and get some darker colors, because I think that would look gorgeous layering this cover plate die even 2 or 3 times. I think, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep working on this. I'll post this later when I'm done, but yeah,
very nice.
So yeah, I just noticed when I was doing this die, it's like, oh, the top is not the same as the bottom, so I could cut it out twice, layer them up, and get 2 different layered backgrounds. But yeah, and don't forget that you can emboss with your dies.
Exactly.
Right? Embossing with your dies.
Another way to get some use out of your dies.
Right. And each machine is different. Like I said, I use my Platinum, my Spellbinders Platinum, but all machines should have an embossing technique or sandwich available.
Right. Someone said black pearls, so I had showed gold before, but I just popped some black ones on there too.
Oh, very pretty.
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out for this thing that I bought from you, Julia, that iCrafter Platform Pro or whatever.
Oh, did you get the magnetic one?
Well, I got both.
Oh, you got both, yeah.
But this is the non-magnetic.
We actually, those are coming back in stock tomorrow. The
magnetic
ones, yeah.
These are the real deal. I'm just cleaning it.
What machine do you use yours with?
I have the Gemini Junior.
Okay, yeah.
And I've cut and cut and cut on it, and it does not cut the actual material. It kind of leaves a little impression, and then after a while, it goes away.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
I used it on my old
No
Big
warping.
Shot. Like my Big Shot is old, and I
Okay.
actually stopped using it. I was only using it for steel cut, the steel rule dies, the big dies,
Right.
because it wouldn't cut the thinlits.
Mm-hmm.
And especially not the intricate dies. It just would not do it. So we got those Pro decks in, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use it in my Big Shot. And once through
Oh
with
yeah.
an intricate die, and it cut it, and I was like, I could not believe
Mm-hmm.
what I was seeing. I actually had to do it like 3 more times. I was like, I don't understand what is happening here.
I know.
So
So
it
for
was just
anybody that's looking
amazing.
for that, which is basically anybody that's die cutting,
And
they're
it's going
so
to
good.
save us on having to repurchase our cutting plates, right?
Absolutely.
Because with the
Absolutely.
amount of die cutting, I was replacing those every few months. They were just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But no,
And I
I'm glad
mean,
you're enjoying yours.
oh, so good. Best purchase ever. Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm glad you're getting more because they're really good.
Yeah, we still have the regular ones in, but the magnetic ones will be back tomorrow.
Okay.
And we also are bringing in the shims for those. So if anyone
Oh, that's good
needs
to
any
know.
shims, the shims, and it's a 3-pack of shims. So you should only need 1 pack, and you have enough to
So
shim.
does the shim work with the junior?
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes tomorrow, I'm going to grab one and I will test it and let
Okay.
everyone know.
Good.
Yeah.
I liked that demo you did too for the
Well,
pro platform.
before I demoed it, I had to try it out myself. So I did try it, and I'm like, okay, I can stand behind this machine. I'm good. Or not
Perfect.
machine plates. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Got a
we are
few
almost
pearls here.
ready. We are
Okay.
almost ready to wrap up. So
Okay.
Mari's just going to
Sounds good.
finish off her pearls.
Yeah.
I'm going to, let me just pull it back here. There we go. Oops. Where'd I?
Hey.
Yeah, so I didn't finish my second card, but you can see it's coming along there. I will post it when I have it done, but there's my first one that I did.
Awesome.
Kind of a,
Love it.
yeah, there. And you can see Mari's cards there. Do you have any last minute questions for yours? For Mari or me? Anything?
Just watching the comments.
Anything for us? If you do have any questions, you can keep posting them because
Sure.
I'll see the comments, and if it's a question for Mari, I can maybe take her and she can answer it. But oh, Linda, it didn't fit your Gemini MIDI. Is that the smaller machine? I'm unfamiliar with that one. Is the
I've got
MIDI
the
small?
Go and the Mini, but I don't have the MIDI.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It must be smaller than a Junior.
Yeah, like there's a size. I have the little Go here, this guy.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a tiny one.
And it's electric.
Mm-hmm.
The opening's probably about 3 inches.
The brand name on the blue cutting mats, those are iCrafter, I-Crafter, and they are the magnetic pro cutting deck and the pro deck. So the pro deck is non-magnetic, and then we have the magnetic one, and I love them both equally. I think they're both amazing. They are
really
absolutely
good.
amazing. Okay, well,
Okay.
thank you so much for joining me, Mari. This was fun.
Yes, it was fun. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. And like I said, if you have any more questions, just keep commenting, and we will answer them. And this is streaming to our YouTube channel. So if you want to be able to go back and find this video really quickly, you can check us out on YouTube. One of my playlists is called Monday Night Live, and you'll find all my Monday Night Live videos on there. And just to give you a heads up, next Monday it's going to be Heather and I, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, Mari.
Thanks,
Have
everyone.
a great evening.
Bye, Julia.